So, the week is here, World Autism Awareness Week, and of course, because I said I'm uploading daily, this morning I woke up, half my tooth is chipped off. You probably wouldn't notice it if I hadn't said. Oh well. The video I'm going to make today is perhaps my most requested video. I'm going to tell you the details about my process of getting diagnosed with autism. I'm aware that I'm not the latest to get diagnosed, but 18 getting diagnosed is pretty late. I'm 19 now. Throughout my childhood and teenage years, autism had been associated with me, so it wasn't like completely new. As soon as I'd figured out, autism, I started to use it in social situations, which some people weren't happy about because I wasn't properly diagnosed, but I was fully aware it was. But I didn't feel the need to get tested because it wasn't at that point affecting me in a massive way. The problem came once I'd left school and when I had no routine and when life was just like, I've mentioned before I had some fallouts with friends, and these were the friends that meant a lot to me, and I'd hurt them a lot and I couldn't understand why I had, and it was all a bit meh. So I'd fallen out with two of my closest friends, and I was watching TV. I was watching This Morning, and it was World Autism Awareness Week. See, all links up. And they were talking about autism, and it was just like, yeah, makes sense. Everything just makes sense. I did like this online test to just see, am I completely going off in the wrong direction? No, I got 37 out of 45 on that test that I did, and that said, you should go and get tested. I'd never mentioned it before to my mum, so I then mentioned it to my mum, like, Mum, I want to get tested for autism. And she was like, okay. And I said, look, I've done this online test and it says go for it. And then she did the test on my behalf and got the same result, so she was like, fair enough. We then went to the GP on April 1st, and the GP, so once we'd explained it, he was kind of like, well, you're giving me eye contact and, you're speaking to me, etc. And he was, let's just say GPs aren't the best educated about high-functioning autism. He was like, oh, yeah, I can see why, but you could just be a bit of a control freak. I was like, thanks. He said, there's enough there, though, for me to recommend you on to the specialist, so if you want to, yeah, sure, but if not, Obviously, I'm glad that I did go forward. 3 months later, I had my appointment with the specialist mental health clinic, and this was a woman who, she was a doctor, but she was kind of training to become a specialist. I don't know, she wasn't like top dog anyway. And what she did, me and my mum sat in a room, and she just basically, tell me the story of your life. It was interesting to just go through my childhood and link everything to autism that could have been autism. Simple things like when I was 1, my mum would give me a blue bowl, a blue fork, and then a red knife, and apparently I would flip. I would scream, I'd cry, because I couldn't understand that why it wasn't the complete set. I used to have to collect everything. Everything had to be in sets, everything had to be in the right order, everything had to... See, I just sound autistic now, obviously, but it was just taken as me, as my personality, which it is. Other things like just simply the way that I interacted with other children. I would always interact with people presented to me, but if I was taken to a park, I'd just happily sit there and play by myself. I wouldn't like to interact with other children. You know how there's that whole thing of when you go on holiday and your parents are like, oh, go make friends. My mum doesn't speak like that. I don't know why I did that. I would never go and make friends because I just want to be by myself. At the end of this kind of 45-minute, an hour chat, she said, what we're looking at a possible case of Asperger's or high-functioning autism. She was pretty insistent on, yeah, I think you have. She said to go away and complete these 2 questionnaires that she'd given me, which was the adult autistic spectrum quotient thing, basically like what I'd done online, and then an empathy test as well, because empathy obviously is linked to autism. So I went home, it took me an hour to do both these things. The autistic adult one was out of 50, and the empathy one was out of 80. So there were 130 questions in total. That's why it took that long. These were all multiple choices, so you're given a statement and then you say either agree, strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree, or there might have been a neutral one. No, I don't think there was. Gave them back into the doctors. Then 2 months later, I had my big appointment with the specialist in autism and development. And he looked at my result. He first of all asked a bit about, kind of had the same similar chat to what the other person had, because they have to get 2 perspectives. It was a lot more brief. My entire appointment this time was only 20 minutes. He reviewed the questionnaires. On the social skills impairment, I got 9 out of 10. On the communication skills impairment, I got 10 out of 10. Attention switching impairment, 10 out of 10 again. Imagination skill impairment, 8 out of 10. And my attention to detail, 9 out of 10. So I got 46 out of 50 for that. 32 is when you're suspected to be on the spectrum. So to be 46 out of 50, it was like, yeah, okay, there's a pretty, yeah. It then looked at the empathy questionnaire, and depending on what you get on that, just kind of helps add evidence to justify the decision made from the first one. And empathy was out of 80, so if you get 80 out of 80, you're the most empathetic person on the planet. I got 5. 5. That's it. Wow. And then he said, I'm pretty happy to make the diagnosis that you have an autistic spectrum disorder, high functioning autism. And then we said, like, so is this Asperger's? Because in the last one, I'd kind of been told Asperger's. But then he explained that Asperger's isn't given as a diagnosis anymore, just simply high functioning autism. But I still use both labels anyway. I just say autistic most of the time. So the weeks passed and I got this letter in the post, which was from my GP. I'm not going to show you the actual letter because it's got, like, where I live on and stuff. So you're not seeing that. You can see bits like that. So there's like my scores. When I got given the diagnosis, it was relief. It was like, yes, makes sense. At least I know what's going on. Because that's why I wanted the diagnosis. I only wanted it so I could understand me. And in kind of a way so other people would understand me a bit better. But since getting diagnosed, mostly been positive. Like 90% positive stuff has come from it. So that entire process took 5 months. Which I'm aware is extremely amazing compared to like 6 years in other places of the country. I don't know what it's like all around the world. If anyone watching from other countries, please let me know how long it took you. In fact, everyone, let me know how long it took you to get diagnosed. Apparently Nottingham's got one of the best diagnosis services, so lucky there. Of course, this was quite a short video for quite a long process, so ask me any questions about it below in the comments. I'm going to try and get my tooth fixed using this little dental repair kit as a temporary thing, because I've got to film in London on Saturday for National Autistic Society. I don't want to be seen by thousands of people with little old chip. I'll see you tomorrow. That's weird. Thank you very much for watching. Knox.